Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Venus retrograde of 2017. Begins on March 4th, 2017, and Venus will be retrograde until April 15th, 2017. Well, anyway. Well, as far as Venus retrograde, it doesn't happen very often, so it can be very significant. It only happens around every 18 or 19 months or so. It doesn't happen very frequently. This could be a time, well, the first thing obviously could be a time where you may be reviewing your finances, your monetary situation. It could be a review of your love life, whether you have one or not, and understanding why it is where it is. It could be the sudden reemergence or resurfacing of past flames, past loves that you have. And being in Aries for part of the time, it could be where you take a direct look at yourself through introspection in terms of what is going on and what's not in terms of your love life, your relationships, and your monetary situation. When it's in Pisces, things could be a little bit more vague and obscure and unclear, and it may be a little harder to really grasp and understand maybe what you, as far as when you're doing your reviewing perhaps of your situation. And it could be where, like say if you're reviewing your monetary situation, there might be some details that you're having trouble really seeing. It could be something where, well, did I spend this on such and such? Well, I'm not really sure. And as far as romantically or in a love situation, if you have, let's say that Venus is in retrograde when it's in the Pisces time, when it hits retro in the sign Pisces, you might encounter an old flame, but you might not really be sure of his or her intentions, because Pisces energy could be a little bit more vague and obscure and confusing. Venus is more direct, and Aries is more direct and outspoken. So even though Venus will be retrograde in Aries for part of the time, and it will be retrograde in that period, at the same time, the fact that it's in Aries will help a little bit, because at least at this time you may get some directness and possibly some understand whether this old flame that may resurface what their intentions are. The intentions would be likely more direct in Aries as opposed to being in Pisces. In Pisces could happen where you might miss a phone call from someone, and it's for example, it's an unidentified caller, and you may be wondering, well, could this be a past love that was trying to get a hold of me that didn't leave their number? So Pisces energy is a little bit more confusing, and what's interesting and not as clear. Now, it's interesting for me, okay, when you have Venus in retrograde motion, it could indicate perhaps money that might be coming toward you that might have been delayed. Venus retrograde can also indicate delays in things of a monetary nature. So the thing about it is, if you're expecting money during this period on a certain date, it may come a little bit later than usual. There might be more delays in processing payments and receiving money during this time. At the same time, money that had been owed to you previously that people had procrastinated on, it might actually come to you. It might be a debt that's coming toward you. You might be going also back, Venus in retrograde motion, you might be going back to a thing that you had enjoyed previously, like art, for example, and you're really doing in what you might have stopped doing for a while, and you might pick this up, an old hobby or something of enjoying, because of course Venus isn't just about our relationships and money, it's about things we enjoy doing as well. When Venus is in retro in Pisces, it could be, for example, somebody going back to abstract art, it's say as far as painting or doing something creatively connected with Pisces, such as like writing fiction or fantasy novels, or designing some kind of video games or something connected with illusion, going back to being maybe being doing magic tricks, a hobby, being a magician. So, but I'll have this in my 12th house for at least half the period. I believe Venus transiting retro in my 12th house, and this could be a time where I could be doing a lot of introspection in terms of my finances, being in the 12th house of limitations and restrictions, mind you. I feel like this time is going to be the time where I'll be doing reviewing in terms of why my monetary situation is the way it is, why I don't have a prodigious amount of money, why I'm not making what I really want to make, and especially at that time when Venus is in, well, Venus will only be in Aries for me in the 12th house, because my 12th house cusp is 4 degrees Aries. So when it goes into around 3 degrees Aries, then it will hit my 11th house. So when it's my 11th house, there could be more of a review on my friends, my aspirations, my goals. And it could be some friends that that I had disconnected with might come into view. It might be people in the metaphysical, or maybe it could even be Pisces, literally someone that has Pisces prominent in their horoscope, sun, moon, or ascendant. And it could be where I'm reviewing perhaps maybe a monetary situation with a friend as well during that time. So it's very interesting the way this plans out, and keep in mind that the Venus retrograde is not all about gloom and doom. What I find interesting too about this transit in the United States, this transit, okay, is going to, the retrograde Venus will end on April 15, 2017, and that will be at or near the period when the tax deadline will be due, and it'll be in being in Pisces, you could expect a lot of chaos and confusion at the last minute, and people trying to get their taxes paid and getting all their forms that they need. So I find that interesting as well. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Venus retrograde 2017, and stay tuned next time where I'll be continuing my Black Moon in Lilith in the Zodiac Signs series. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel, and secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.